recently moved, and in their unpacking, they discovered about a dozen stamped and addressed thank you notes from a baby shower that had failed to make it into the mail. The thing is, that baby is now, I think, about 18 months old. Do you still send them? My reaction when I heard this was relief. Because apparently I am not the only person in the world who has failed in this way. What about you? How are you with thank you notes? I think I'm usually fairly good when it comes to like baby showers or graduation gifts, but I know I fail all the time. Some of it is just not knowing what the proper modern day thank you note etiquette is anymore. I remember growing up, I was told that if you receive something in person and you're able to thank that person face to face, then you don't really need to send a thank you note in the mail because you have just thanked them. But then there's exceptions when it comes to bridal showers and baby showers. And with modern day technology, is a thank you email sufficient? Or a thank you Facebook message or text message or phone call? Some would say sure. Others I see shaking your heads. No, it needs to be in paper through the snail mail. And what about if someone is giving you something to thank you for something that you have done? Do you then thank them for thanking you? When does it end? When is it too much? Can it be too much? I want you all to take a moment and take your hands and cup them together. Not flat, but cup them together. And then whisper into them something about your health that you are thankful for. And then keep them cupped. Okay. Well, I know that during those times when I know that it is the proper thing to write out a thank you note, I can usually do that just fine. Sit down and write the note, address it, and put the stamp on it. But somehow, getting it into the mailbox can be nearly impossible for me. It's like it's my kryptonite. I'm the same way with birthday cards. I write them all out and have them ready to go, and then nothing. I have no excuse. This is a weakness, a growing edge. And so I think when I heard about this couple who always appears to have it all together, when I heard that they had failed, it wasn't that it justified my failing, but I felt less alone as a failure. Because it is important to thank people for what they have given you and what they have done. It makes a difference to recognize one another's efforts. Sometimes just to acknowledge that the gift was received. How many times do we forget to acknowledge that? And yet, when we do remember, when we go to that person and thank them, it's like we get to relive that joy all over again. And we feel more united with the other person. Our relationship becomes stronger. when we appreciate one another. Like we're part of something bigger than just ourselves. Working towards a common goal. Now in your cupped hands, I want you to whisper a person who you are thankful for. Put your hands, keep them cupped. Well, in today's gospel from Luke, it seems that there are many thank you notes that have gone missing. Jesus is once again wandering around border towns, places that he has no business being as a respectable Jewish rabbi. He is still traveling towards Jerusalem, towards the cross. And yet he takes this detour where he ends up in a place that borders on Samaria, where all those Samaritans are from, who the Jews didn't get along with, and Galilee. And when news of his arrival spreads, 10 people come to him for help. In the Greek, it says that Luke writes that these are 10 people who have leprosy. He does not call them lepers, as we read in our translation, because there is so much more to them than this chronic bacterial infection that causes scaly skin and open sores and lack of feeling pain, which can sometimes cause loss of extremities and weakness. Because this disease is thought to be caused by polluted water and poor diet and nutrition, it was thought to be a disease of the poor, the downtrodden, the forgotten, the at least we're not like them kind of people. And the Jewish people had laws prohibiting anyone who had leprosy from coming in contact or near anyone who didn't, because they didn't want it to spread. But if you were the one who had leprosy, well, that meant that you were considered unclean, an outcast. And you could only survive on the mercy of others when you begged. So this motley crew of 10 people mixed of both Samaritans and Jews, oddly enough, when they heard that Jesus was near, their hearts swelled with hope. Maybe. And so they rushed near to him, but not too near. And they cried out, begging for mercy, begging for a miracle. And Jesus gave them that miracle. Without even coming near, without even touching them, because he didn't have to. Instead, he told them to go and show themselves to the priests. And as they went, not quite sure why they were going to do this, they noticed that their skin became soft and supple. Their toes or earlobes grew back. Their sores closed. They were healed. I want you to whisper into your hands something about this congregation that you are thankful for. When this group of 10 found that they were healed, them jumped for joy. Some of them danced in the streets. Some of them were afraid. Afraid of what was happening and afraid that it wouldn't last. And some were just stunned. And 9 of them obeyed Jesus and did exactly as Jesus had directed them to do. They went and showed themselves to the priests. And then who knows, maybe some of them went and showed themselves to everyone else in town because they could. And maybe some of them ran home to embrace their families where they couldn't remember the last time they had even touched them. And others of them maybe found a quiet place to sit and just let it all sink in. But one of them disobeyed. This one Samaritan of all people, what were the odds? When he saw that he was healed, he jumped with glee and rejoiced, and he was so excited he couldn't be bothered to go all the way to show himself to the priests. Instead, he ran back to say thank you to the one who knew had given him this gift. And when he fell on his knees and realized that Jesus had saved him from his past, from his pain, he was doubly blessed. You see, it's not that the first 9 were bad or had done anything wrong. It's not that their forgetfulness or distractedness or not knowing the proper etiquette or having their thank you notes wedged between sofa cushions was anything to be punished. It's just that they missed out. Because when we realize that all that we have has been given to us, and we thank Jesus and offer back that which Jesus has first given us, ourselves, our very flesh and bones, our beating hearts, the air we breathe, our loved ones, our roofs, our walls, our food, our drink, our checkbooks and bank accounts. When we give thanks for all that and offer it back, we are doubly blessed. And we feel united with Christ. Our relationship with him strengthens because we are a part of something bigger than just ourselves. And we know there is work to do and we can't do it all on our own, but that's okay because we don't have to, because Jesus comes to us and offers us more. Offers us more unconditional love and grace and healing than we can fathom. Now, if you have kept your hands cupped this time, I want you to notice how they feel. Tired? Heavy? Maybe a little sore? Very uncomfortable? This is what happens when we hold that thanks in, when we keep it to ourselves. So I'm going to invite you to release and give thanks to God. Be doubly blessed. Your faith has made you well. You feel the lightness. Amen.
Beautiful.